Can you talk to you for a second?
She's coming in hot with the life advice. And she's not wrong. Having kids is a forever decision. But here's the thing. In court, emotional damage isn't legal defense. It's just the opening act before the real arguments begin.
What do you want to do with Mr. Waters? What do you want to do with Mr. Waters?
He's gonna plea today. We're trying to do a time served on the evading dismissal. Hi, Judge. He's got so much going on. And his curfews.
Mischief, trespass, theft, gun case, theft.
When he was arraigned, we established that so many of these cases are just the result of him hanging out at this little drugstore. The cops know who he is. They know who everyone there is. So really, he just needs to stop hanging out at that drugstore. He's not. And, well, I'm sorry.
For both of these cases, he picks up another theft.
And that's upstairs a felony. And right now, the offer is 18 months state jail. So he's dealing with that right now. The evading is at that same little drugstore. And I'm sorry, my memory is actually coming back to me. A lot of those thefts were necessary items from Target or Walmart. Because we went over that for arraignment. They were literally, when it was winter, it was literally hoodies, sweatshirts, and socks. And then when it was summer, it was like underwear. Most of those thefts are necessary items. When I was appointed, we got him a social worker through the MAC and housing through search. And his girlfriend was...
Let's pause right there. When the crimes are stealing socks and sweatshirts, you're not looking at a criminal mastermind. You're looking at someone trying to survive. Legally, theft is still theft, but morally, it lives in a gray area.
She was only like 2 months pregnant. Now she's pretty much due. They have housing that they got through the services we were able to provide. He hasn't picked up any new cases because right now they're barely making ends meet, but they are making ends meet. They're still together. She relies on him to go to their appointments. He gets the things that she needs because her mobility has decreased now. She came up here and spoke for him in front of you. She'd been to like college and everything, and you gave her a big speech. You gave him a speech about supporting her through her hormonal shifts. He was just telling me about that. He was like, I keep thinking about what Judge Fleischer said. She woke me up crying this morning because she said she's fat and ugly, and I just held her, and I made her feel better, and I'm trying to do that every day because I remember what the judge told me. That's where he is right now, Judge. So he understands that he broke that curfew a couple times. He says
that right there, that's the kind of emotional growth judges hope for, but rarely witness. He's quoting courtroom advice like it's scripture, showing real change. But the question remains, will the system reward that growth with mercy or hit him with a cold slap of reality?
Ones are just from him trying to get a job and getting home late. But
he's been saying that he had a job. He's out at 11 o'clock at night. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's
still got the felony pending. He's ready to resolve these. If the court will allow, I think it's a good resolution for him.
I'm not going to do it.
Why? What would be the alternative, Judge?
I want him on probation. And I want to monitor him for the next 2 years so I can make sure that he's not messing up. So I can keep him and I want him to get his high school. Does he have a high school diploma?
I can't remember.
If you're going, do you mind bringing up Mr. Waters?
If we have to do that, can you not revoke his bond so that he and I can talk about it while not under the strain of my bond's going to be revoked, so I'm going to spend the night in jail if I don't get this plea done? Can we not revoke his bond? Other than the bond violations, he wasn't here on yesterday when he was supposed to be because he had felony court today. He thought he was supposed to come here after felony court or whenever that was. I'm sorry. But he didn't just blow off the court yesterday.
I'm very upset with you. Very, very upset. I thought we had things going.
Sorry, Judge.
I thought we had things going right. You know, you've been doing well. And now you've got this bond violation where you're doing whatever the hell you want to do again. Don't work like that. And I don't know what I need to do to get your attention that at this stage in your life,
There's a judicial gavel drop, metaphorically speaking. When the judge starts saying, I don't know what I need to do to get your attention, you know you're on thin ice with a heat lamp overhead.
It's not about what you want to do, it's about complying with bond conditions. We have literally bent over backwards to try to help you with things, and you continue to shoot yourself in the foot. Your lawyer, Miss Hawkins, wants to plead you guilty now because you have a warrant. I'm done with this revolving door of you picking up a case and getting out. Picking up a case, getting out. You now, Mr. Waters, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Cap, man. That's cap. I'm gonna fight for my life, man. That's cap, man. I've been by my baby mama's side, man. Been taking care of everything I got to take care of, man. That's cap, man.
Mr. Waters, look at me.
That's cap, man.
Mr. Waters, you don't get rewarded for doing things that you should do anyways. It's meaning it's what you're doing is great, and it keeps you out of jail. But do you want me to pat you on the back for doing what you should be doing anyways?
I ain't asking. Man, I ain't asking. I'm just asking you, like, just give me a little more time. I've been doing these jobs. I've been going through the whole package. I've been going to the hospitals with my girl, going to go check up on our little one that's coming, and I want to be there.
If you are old enough to have a baby, then these are the things that you should do anyways. You don't get rewarded for being a good father. The reward is that you have a kid that grows up like a little flower that blossoms, right? Because there are so many people that have babies that treat their kids like shisa, and they end up...
There's a judicial gavel drop, metaphorically speaking. When the judge starts saying, I don't know what I need to do to get your attention, you know you're on thin ice with a heat lamp overhead.
Like rotten-ass kids that, like a flower, are just crooked and just... When you're a father, the duty of a father is to stand by the side of their kid, stand by the side of the wife, to make their lives as comfortable, as great, educational, and supportive as possible. That is the duty of a father, right? If you can't, then don't have kids. Then be a man to use a prophylactic or think, maybe I'm not in the best position right now to have a baby. You think before you act. This is the sign of being an adult, of being mature, and growing up, Mr. Waters. But me, with you now, I'm not going to just continue with this revolving door. You've been doing well because you've not picked up any cases, which is great, right?
And I have not been doing nothing. I have not been kicking hard. I have been...
Tell me about the curfew then. What's up with that?
Okay, with the curfew, I can understand. Me and my girl, we got into it, and I ended up walking out, trying to go get some fresh air. Was not thinking. I can admit to it, and I'm sorry. We yelled, the hormone going crazy with us, and we trying to, fight and get right with this, but...
You need to know about this.
I'm trying to, I can't talk. Y'all be telling me I can't talk, and I be having...
I have to give you a lawyer to talk to.
And I told her everything. So she can come and tell you and let you know. Keep stuff updated. So I've been out the way. I ain't been on no lollygag and stuff. I'm really maturing. I'm ready to be a dad. I'm ready for this. Well, I'm doing a little something on the side. I ain't doing no drugs, none of that. I'm, volunteering with my girl dad now.
Why can you not get a...
There's a judicial gavel drop, metaphorically speaking. When the judge starts saying, I don't know what I need to do to get your attention, you know you're on thin ice with a heat lamp overhead.
Job.
With my 9 to 5, I gotta have my ID and stuff, and I'm working with search. My housing people, they got me my apartment. They finna give me my social security card and my my ID card, and that's all I need so I can go ahead and get on.
1 second. Weren't we working on this?
Yeah, so first he was with Search to just get housing. At first they didn't have housing, so he has an apartment and everything now. I'm not sure like the step-by-step how everything progresses, but he does still work with them. I've actually spoken with his officer, their case manager. He also had a social worker assigned with Mac. They were informed that he's working with Search, so they just kind of check in here and there, but they won't like also work with him because he's also working with Search, but they'll just make sure things are okay. So he is still working with Search and has a case manager with them. And has housing now. I wasn't aware of the ID issues or anything.
I've been telling them, send the applications.
What we're going to do now is we're going to work on this in extremely slow baby steps. I want you now to go get your ID. I want you to get your ID. And I'm going to give you a week for you to go get it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you are not back here in a week with your ID, it's not going to go well. After we get your ID, then you and I are going to work together to get you a job. A 9 to 5 job where you're working every single day. Because if you are about to have a baby, that baby needs food, that baby needs clothes, and the only way you get that is by working. And I'm not talking about these side jobs here, no. An actual J-O-B. Do you understand? I'm going to reinstate your bond right now with the expectation that you're going to get your ID. If you don't, it's really not going to go well.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, this is more of a client service matter than anything else. I would like to reapproach Your Honor on Mr. James. Mr. James has some questions about the probable cause, and if it's possible, I'd like to have probable cause read while I'm here with him so that I can communicate to him adequately everything that's going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come on, Mr. James. He's saying there's no problem. Come on.
Your Honor. I think at this point I'd like to just say that he's not fully understanding or appreciating the magnitude of what's going on, so that we can communicate effectively. I'd just like us to have transparency.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are charged with assault causing bodily injury. You are facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. She's going to read what happened in this case. Please.
On March 13th, 2025, at approximately 3:11, officers were dispatched to a gas station in Houston, Harris County, Texas, in reference to an assault. Upon arrival, officers met with the complainant, who stated the defendant assaulted him with his arms. The complainant stated that he was at the gas station when an unrelated suspect started beating on him. As he was getting beat up, the defendant jumped onto the complainant and started beating on him as well. The defendant struck the complainant with a closed fist, then strangled the complainant from behind with
Okay,
his
hold on. Did you hear what that said? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know that's true.
Okay.
What happened? That's what they're saying happened.
That's why we have evidence. Evidence points to whose side is correct. So I know that you're saying it didn't happen.
Said that.
But now,
Somebody said that. That's the probable cause.
we have seen.
I got that. That's right. We're going to work on it. Just listen.
with his forearms in a chokehold for 5 minutes. The complainant passed out. The complainant stated he felt pain. The complainant pointed out the defendant, who was across the street. When officers arrived, the officers attempted to detain the defendant, and the defendant resisted. The complainant positively identified the defendant. The complainant and defendant are acquaintances through the complainant's girlfriend. The complainant had a bruise on his neck and a bump knot on his cheek.
Your Honor, of course he doesn't have a bump on his cheek or his neck, and they got the wrong thing. They got the wrong guy. We're going to prove that. So, but right now, Your Honor, do you find probable cause? Judge found probable cause based on that. Now we're going to fight this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, now listen, now we got one more thing to take care of. Your Honor, I understand that as part of his bond conditions, the court is requesting he has an ankle monitor. Your Honor, we understand that the purpose of bond and the conditions are to ensure his return to court. I have talked to him and we'd like to make his next appearance required, Your Honor.
Okay.
We would ask that he not have to have that ankle monitor, Your Honor.
And the state would be opposed, just due to the complainant's safety and the threats to their life that happened that was relayed to us during this incident. I don't know how him and the other suspect are involved. The state would be opposed to not having him be involved.
And if I may, Your Honor, my client was not the initial aggressor. The facts are uncontroverted that my client was introduced to a scene of combat. Whether or not he was trying to break it up and help and it was a misinterpretation, or he actually hit this person who was ultimately unconscious and their recollection could be questioned. Those are all factual questions, Your Honor. He's contesting that he was a good Samaritan, Your Honor, and we'd like to prove that. But there were other facts that took place that were not my client. We would ask that even though they have concerns, he is not posing a risk that he would not return to court, Your Honor, and that would be the reason for the ankle monitor.
My fear, and after looking at his criminal history, he has extensive criminal history dating back to 1987.
Yes, Your Honor.
In fact, he has, and he just did 300 days on a burglar of a building, not just a couple months ago, where 2 aggravated assaults with a deadly weapon were dismissed.
Yes, sir.
So my fear is I don't want him using alcohol, illegal drugs, and I don't want him anywhere near the complaining witnesses, and I want to ensure that this doesn't happen. So that's why I put this on. If after some time passes where there are no issues, I'm always happy to revisit. But for the time being, I want to ensure that our community is protected and that the complaining witness is also protected. I mean, we have here an allegation where he was choked for 5 alleged minutes until he passed out.
No, that never happened.
Evidence will point to whose side is correct. I'm assuming, and I would hope, that if this is the fact, that officers would take pictures, there should be ligature marks, there should be all kinds of, so we'll see.